I have got a quadfecta, not a trifecta, a quadfecta of unreasonable stories coming out of Seattle. Crime, some just weird, but not reasonable. Not reasonable at all. That's what we're doing today. I've got a golf club wielding vandal smashes King County Courthouse windows. I've got Seattle Fire Department response to like 490 fires already this year in homeless encampments. I've got a man killed at a homeless encampment. He was looking for his brother, can't find his brother, and now this other guy's dead, got killed, robbed at a homeless encampment. And then for our final story, we've got thieves steal. This is a good one. Thieves steal pricey 10,000-year-old mammoth tusk from a Seattle gallery. Can you imagine trying to sell that on the Blade in downtown Seattle when it was, just the open air drug dealing and stolen goods market? Hey, I give you a really good deal on this 10,000-year-old mammoth tusk. It's from a reputable museum. I just stole it. Give you 50% off the wholesale cost. It's a deal. And this is the good mammoth. This is the good mammoth tusk. None of that crap stuff that other guy over there is selling. This is the good tusk. Can you imagine? What are you going to do with the 10,000-year-old mammoth tusk? Somebody's going to buy it, right? I know artifacts and stuff get sold, but okay. That's what we're covering today. That's what we're doing. News for reasonable people, because none of this stuff is reasonable. We got to talk about it. We got to break it down. Let's get into it. Before we do, if you're new, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies. Why wouldn't I be talking about this ridiculous stuff and antics here in Seattle, Washington? A golf club wielding vandal smashes King County Courthouse windows. Now, this storyline would have been better if the golf club was stolen, something along those lines. But if you've been following this podcast at all, I've talked many times about our courthouse being the scene of just some crazy mayhem, to the point where the park next to the courthouse is in the midst of a land swap right now, because the city can't keep that park safe. They need more resources. So let's do a land swap for this park next to the King County Courthouse to the county, who has more police. All right, this makes sense. So you got some just nut job walking down the sidewalk in front of the courthouse where all of, the legal proceedings for King County take place, just bashing out windows with his golf club. Can you imagine that? It's like, okay, yeah, we need to reimagine and we need to rethink those windows because they're not there anymore. All right, an individual wielding a golf club smashed dozens of King County Courthouse windows Wednesday morning. Seattle Police Department and county employees with the courthouse report. So this is the same courthouse that our taxpayer money, if you're a citizen of Seattle, taxpayers' money is going to specific security details to escort the county employees to and from maybe the ferry, couple of blocks, maybe to and from the bus station. Good Lord, who's going to ride the bus in downtown Seattle? Get on there and you instantly get high on fentanyl because they're smoking in the back of the bus, because it's easier to smoke there on the sidewalk where you've got, air circulation. Or else, maybe King Street Station, where that woman was thrown down 2 flights of stairs and managed to hold on to the railing so she didn't get thrown down the final 3rd flight of stairs. You can see why King County is using taxpayers' money to provide additional security, because you got nut jobs like these people running around that should be either in jail or they should be in a mental institution somewhere. But we let them all out, and what could possibly go wrong? Here we go. The county estimates the damage will cost tens of thousands of dollars for replacement glass. Don't worry, it's the taxpayers' money. Don't worry, it's not an issue. There's plenty more of that where that came from. Guys, we need 14 windows. They're really expensive. Let's do this. A facility, window companies, summer of 2020 through now, they've got, I know I had to wait forever to get one ridiculous window at my house in a remodel. window companies got to be killing it. If you're in the window industry, if you're in the glass industry, are you killing it? Or maybe not because you can't get a hold of the materials you need. I don't know. But with as many windows as have been smashed from the mostly peaceful protesters, we're doing some merchandising. As you can see, I've got a water bottle over here. We're just revealing the water bottle. It says #reasonable for those of you on the podcast. It's a very nice water bottle. We're testing out some merchandise. We're going to go down these roads, but literally #reasonable. Bashing out windows to the county courthouse with a golf club. Not so reasonable. I mean, so one of my concepts is to have like mostly peaceful with Seattle and fires and CHOP and, the summer of love and those kind of things on a shirt. I think that'd be funny. It's easy to make fun of this stuff because it's so ridiculous that what else can you do with some of the stuff? Some of it's really sad too, that we've let things go here in Seattle to this point. A Seattle police investigation has been launched, although no arrests in connection with the vandalism have been made. Seattle police have not released any surveillance images of a suspect. I want to see this dude just walk down the sidewalk, whacking those windows with his golf club. I mean, I just do. Okay, so let's move on to the second one. Crews have responded to approximately 450 fires. I said 490 earlier. Sorry. That was an exaggeration. That was obviously fake news. 450 fires at homeless encampments in Seattle. Again, excellent use of taxpayers' dollars. I mean, we've got homeless people in parks underneath our freeways. We had a massive fire. I think it was 2 nights ago. You could see just the billowing smoke coming out of this encampment, and it was right underneath the freeway. I mean, just massive billows of smoke. Just smoke doesn't make a sound, but that was the sound for smoke. I mean, kind of like in the show Lost, where the black smoke came and it was whispers, just like that. So you got 450 fires at homeless encampments in Seattle. That's some good use of taxpayers' money, because every single time you got to have a couple of fire trucks come out. How much do you think that costs? Yeah, it's not cheap, but don't worry. Not all of the fires got out of control, according to the fire department. Oh, whew, that's good. The number also includes responses to illegal burning. So if you're homeless in an encampment and you set a fire, maybe you're doing some cooking, you're doing a bonfire, some of those count as well. Because believe it or not, you're not supposed to have an open flame or fire in a park. That's a thing. Because nylon tents filled with garbage and flames, you can see where I'm going with that. Yeah, it's not good. Seattle Fire Department has responded to approximately 450 fires at illegal homeless encampments. A large tent fire at an encampment on 4th Avenue South at Edgar Martinez Drive South. Baseball player, Mariners. Before Wednesday's fires, Seattle Fire responded to approximately 449 fires between January 1st and April 3rd. So how many days we got in there? We got 90 days in there. Is that right? January, February, March, but call it, a little beyond 90. 450 divided by 90. That's a lot of fires each day. Not all fires got out of control. We know that. Between 2020 and 2021, encampment fires have more than doubled from 854 to 1,446. You got fires. You got multiple fires each day all over the city going up in flames. So when people say, you know what, just let the homeless do their thing, they're not hurting anybody. Massive fires. Sometimes catching trees on fire, sometimes catching buildings on fire like they did down in Venice Beach. I mean, it's not like this is just peaceful times where nothing ever happens. You got some real craziness going on in these encampments, and fires are one of those things. So yeah, that's it. 450 fires. You can imagine what that looks like. It's not good. And one of the things that I always think about when we have these it's almost going to be like 71 here today in Seattle. I mean, that is go to the beach, crack out the sunscreen and take your towel because it's hot. That's roasting weather here in early April in Seattle. But one of the things about Seattle is it's pretty cold a lot of the time throughout the year, and it's pretty wet. I can't blame the homeless for wanting to run a fire to maybe just warm up and maybe cook something. But there's the rub. You've got camping going on and, full-time lifestyle, urban lifestyle camping. It's brutal when you add a flame to that mix. And so, I get it. You want to have warm food. You want to try and stay warm. But that doesn't necessarily work out. And it certainly doesn't work out in our parks or any of these other places underneath the freeway where this is going on. So not a good thing. Hashtag not reasonable. All right. So this one is straight up super sad. So we're not making any fun on this one. This one was just like, I was trying to figure out how to work this in a story, and it's pretty hardcore. It's one of those stories where you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have just ignored that storyline entirely. So a man was killed at a homeless encampment while searching for a missing brother. His family seeks justice. Family is desperate for answers after their loved one was shot and killed at a Seattle area homeless encampment while he was looking for his missing brother. Now they are calling on the community to help them find justice. 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬 watched as her family members carried her cousin's casket to a final resting place at a Michigan graveyard. When they brought him and we saw him, we couldn't believe that was 𝐏𝐞𝐸 lying right there, 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬 said. 𝐍𝐞𝐈𝐬's entire family is still filled with grief over the loss of 𝐏𝐞𝐸, a well-loved 43-year-old father of two and a business owner in Seattle. He's a very, very nice man. He has a big heart. He's sweet. He loves to work. He loves to laugh, joke around. He never hurt nobody, 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬 said, as tears welled in her eyes. It's very hard for us because he's still young and he lost his life for nothing, she continued. On March 17th, 2022, 𝐏𝐞𝐸 was shot and killed at a Seattle homeless encampment off 10th and Dearborn, commonly known as the Jungle. The Jungle has a terrible reputation. It is the jungle for a reason. It is rough. All kinds of crime go on there, have gone on over the years, on and off, because it's one of those places where it's an encampment that gets swept, it comes back, it gets swept, it comes back. So this guy goes looking for his brother, and he gets capped, and he gets robbed also. The camp has been removed several times over the years, but the tents, along with waste and used needles, always come back. 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬 said 𝐏𝐞𝐸 was not homeless and only went to the camp to search for his missing brother, 𝐏𝐞𝐸𝐬, who goes by Mike. 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬, the sister, said her brother Mike has health issues, including diabetes, high blood pressure, and a recent cancer diagnosis. He had been living with she and her family in Michigan, but on March 1st, he got a ticket to Seattle and then fell off the map. The family has not heard from Mike since, and he is still missing. A week after 𝐏𝐞𝐸's murder, the encampment was cleared. Chopper 7 flew overhead as mounds of garbage and remnants of the dangerous place were pushed away. As of April 6th, the area remains problem-free, but 𝐏𝐞𝐸's killer is still free too. Please, whoever has any info, please just show up and tell us the truth. They don't have any suspects and nobody really knows anything. There is a $3,000 reward being offered for information that leads to the arrest and charges of 𝐏𝐸's killer. That's a brutal one, leaving a couple of kids behind. And it's not because he was living at the encampment. He was literally trying to do the right thing, go find his brother. And somebody murders him and steals I think his cell phone got stolen and his wallet got stolen. This article doesn't report that, but I'm pretty sure I read that elsewhere. So the guy's literally trying to go find his brother. Now this family has two family members that are gone, one permanently and one we don't know, but it doesn't sound good either which way. So that one is a tough one. So when people again talk about, well, just leave them be at the homeless encampment, nothing ever happens there. Yeah, not so much the case, right? Okay, so that is that one. Here is the last one, the one you've been waiting for. I know. Thieves steal pricey 10,000-year-old mammoth tusk from Seattle gallery. Do you think they knew what they were stealing? I mean, Can you go online? I should have done this as part of my research, but how much is a 10,000-year-old mammoth in a gallery worth on the black market? How much is a stolen 10,000-year-old mammoth worth? I need to know. This article says it's a couple of thousand, but is that a museum paying for said piece? Because otherwise, what's the point of stealing it? You imagine some really shifty guy walking in. He's got his bag, with stolen goods, and he looks around and he does a combo on the bag and looks around again, and he opens up his bag and he says to the person at the museum, "Got a 10,000-year-old mammoth husk for you here." "Uh-huh, I do. You want to buy it?" I mean, what museum is going to take that? I don't know if I should have done more research on this podcast, but you can understand why I didn't. I think you're going to cut me a break for this one, right? Because it's so ridiculous. That kind of stuff belongs in the museum. Don't steal stuff from the museum. It's there for a reason, so everybody can enjoy it. It's like the peaceful protesters down in Portland. What did they break into? They broke into some kind of, maybe a historical society or something. I think that was Antifa, broke into a historical society. It's like, what are you doing? What are you even thinking? Simply not reasonable. Police were working to recover an ancient mammoth tusk valued at several $1,000s that was apparently stolen Tuesday evening by a shoplifter from a downtown Seattle art gallery located in an area where the city has pledged to step up law enforcement. Okay, maybe they didn't see the husk going missing. Maybe that wasn't on their, Operation New Day checklist. Okay, we got to cover the husks because those might go missing because, they're selling stuff. Or was this somebody adding to their collection back home? Was this a Thomas Crown affair type incident? Nah, who knows, right? I mean, who knows? We'll probably never know the story, but you can guarantee I will be the only podcaster out there to report on if this missing husk comes back. I mean, did I say husk? I think it's tusk. Jeez, can't even get that right. So, missing tusk. Officers were called to the gallery located at the 200 block of Pine Street. That is in the Blade. Not good. Around 5:30 p.m. on a shoplifting report, police said. Is the 200 address part of the Blade? It might be on the south end. Could be. It's right there, though. No injuries were reported, but the male suspect implied to the workers inside that he was armed with a knife before he took the mammoth tusk, an extra long front tooth of a large extinct elephant that roamed the earth 10,000 years ago. So, what are you going to do with that? Let me know in the comments. What do you think this guy did with a 10,000-year-old tusk from a large extinct elephant? Police said the man grabbed the tusk and fled from the scene in a plum-colored PT Cruiser that was stolen. Got a stolen car, probably a stolen gun, probably a stolen knife, probably got a little fentanyl on him or in him. He's just running around. Do you think this guy in the morning woke up and said, I'm going to go looking for a really old, mammoth tusk? Who knows? But I mean, this is just kind of the crazy stuff we've got going on right now. And why wouldn't we? Gallery owners declined to speak on camera to Como News about the crime, saying that they were shaken up by the theft. A post on the shop's Facebook page said the gallery carries handmade fine art sculptures and had been operating at the site for about a year. Carvings on the gallery's website range in price from $130 and rise to several $1,000s for more elaborate pieces. Unlike laundry detergent or 70-inch TV or stand-up vacuum cleaner that I've talked a lot about, part of the items that you'll see on, on the sidewalks of areas in Seattle that we just don't really police for whatever reason, so that said crime industry can continue to operate. We just give a hall pass to that. Although right now we're really not. We're trying to hone down on some of this crime. Yeah, I don't think long-term that they're really going to set up the Mammoth Tusk New Day operation, but we got to talk about it anyway. It's crime, right? Gallery owner said they believe the suspect targeted their shop for the priceless materials used to craft the fine art pieces. So he's going to cut it up. Yeah. He's going to cut it up, or he's going to give it to somebody else, or he's going to sell it to somebody else who cuts it up. I don't know. I mean, I would guess so. Make other stuff out of it, but what street level criminal like this is going to be able to pawn this off? Maybe my fine art, shoplifting is woefully outdated. And maybe there's a big market for this. I don't know, but it was a couple of $1,000. That's what made me think, okay, it's not a super fine art piece. It's really old, but if somebody comes in looking to sell you this, it's not that hard to do the little Google search and you come up with this story. I mean, I'm reading about it, right? Gallery officials said the tusk theft is the second shoplifting incident in as many weeks, and in both instances, the thief took carvings etched from ancient fossils that can take years to create. Again, I go with, what's the liquidity of the secondary market on stolen stuff like this? I don't know. The gallery did not provide a photo of the tusk that was taken. They also declined to divulge the value of the tusk that was taken. However, a police spokesperson said that the item was valued at several $1,000s. To a museum or a collector, how many collectors go down, call it the Blade in Seattle, there we were talking, when it was all set up for, hawking all of your goods that you stole from the surrounding Target and Ross Dress for Less so that you could get your next fix. How many, collectors of fine art are you going to find? Hey, what you got there? Is that a really old tusk? You got another one? I'll take two. I don't know. The gallery is located roughly in an area where police have stepped up their presence following several high-profile shootings at 3rd Avenue and Pine Street. Okay. So it sounds like it is right in the Blade. Police said gallery owners plan to hire a security guard to prevent future thefts. So up until this point, it sounds like they haven't had that many issues, but now just all of a sudden, boom, they've got a couple. So thieves are getting desperate. They're getting desperate to be able to sell whatever they can because there has been a lockdown they've been doing emphasis on retail crime, meaning we had I think it was exactly a week ago on a Thursday where Seattle Police Department went out and did like an emphasis on retail shoplifting, and they arrested 49 people. It's good. It's a step in the right direction, but it's an enormous drop in the bucket as far as the ongoing retail theft that has happened throughout the city of Seattle, and it's happening throughout a lot of other cities that seem to be a little bit lax on their either criminal laws and or prosecution. Police can only do so much. And, you catch the guy and you want to do the whole catch and release thing, or, maybe some community bail fund comes in and bails somebody out. Got a lot of that going on. So just wild times. But the 10,000-year-old Mammoth tusk, that's a tough one to figure out from my end. Maybe you've got the answer. Let me know in the comments. All right. That is my quadfecta for you. I hope you enjoyed these random stories. Just weird stuff going on in Seattle. Hashtag not reasonable. Thanks so much for being here. We'll catch up soon. We'll talk again. Bye for now.